YTBC, what's the deal? So I got this prediction wrong. Joseph Parker edged this fight. I had the fight 7-5, maybe 8-4, but probably close to maybe 7-4-1 or 7-5. Joseph Parker. This was a really good test for him. I'm not going to go round by round by round by round. I mean, it was pretty even. A lot of the rounds are pretty even, man. You know, Parker just, the rounds he did win, looked like he just did enough to win those rounds. Same thing for Carlos Takam, all right? But some things I seen from JP when I break this down. I got to see him tired. And that's what I wanted to see, you know, because every fight, man, whether it's Joseph Parker or whoever else it is, every fight, you're not going to go in there and just steamroll somebody in 5 rounds. It's not going to happen. I know a lot of people think that their favorite fighter is going to be able to do that, but this is not realistic, man. Sooner or later, somebody's going to push you. Somebody's going to be able to take your punches or make you miss. And I wanted to see how JP looked against world-class opposition. You know, Francois Botha and Cali Meehan, they were world-class years ago. All right, so I want to see how he looked against somebody that's world-class right now today. You know, how does he look when he's throwing big right hands and they land and they don't really do, you know, they don't have the effect. They're not knocking guys out. How does he react? How does he react when he's getting pushed backward, when he's tired, when he's tying up, when he has to, you know, go to the reserves and fire back and take 2 or 3 punches and come back with 2 or 3 punches? That's what I wanted to see. The whole fight was like that, but there were times where I thought, okay, JP looked pretty tired. His mouth was open. He was doing a great job of feinting and using the jab and circling. His defense was a lot better than I thought it was going to be in this fight. He was doing a much better job of rolling with punches instead of just standing straight up. He was going backwards and rolling left, rolling right, rolling with the hooks that Carlos Takam was throwing. Takam was throwing a lot of wide shots, man. It's like he was trying to catch JP with hooks and they just wasn't working. But, you know, he was able to mix it up, and then as soon as he would make a surge, then JP would answer him. And same thing for Parker. As soon as he made a surge, Takam would answer him. So they're going back and forth. Now, if I'm just trying to critique little things, I wanted JP to be a little bit more active. I thought that he would be more active than Takam since he's the younger guy, the fresher guy. Few times he was putting his chin, you know, he'll trying to lean over and try to just give Takam a different look. He was leaning over trying to shoot the jab in, but sometimes, you know, you don't, well, I just wouldn't think a guy wants to, you know, put his chin over that lead foot. Sometimes his chin was over his lead foot, but he was out of punching range when he was doing it. Had Takam been a guy with a longer reach and throwing straighter punches, maybe he would have made him pay for that. His hands are fast. He has very good, you know, he has very fast hands. He was able to smother a lot of Takam's work on the inside. That's where I thought Takam was going to be able to do his work, was on the inside. And the punches he did land, JP was just taking them. You know what I mean? He was able to absorb those shots and come back with his own shots. It looked like Takam had a little bit more energy down the stretch, but then maybe it just looked like that. Maybe he was doing a great job of masking the fact that he was probably tired too. Both guys were resting by just circling and posturing. And I can tell both guys were a little bit winded, but you have to mask it. You know, obviously you can't sit there and just breathe out your mouth, you know, and let the guy know you're tired. So sometimes guys will do things like circle, move around, paw with the jab, but they're really resting. And I think both guys were resting at the same time. There were a few times in the fight where Takam was trying to apply the pressure, but he was just smothering his own work, and he kept coming with the same hooks, just wide hooks, wide hooks. He was able to land some punches, and you know, like I said, Parker was absorbing these punches, and he was able to take them. He was landing some very good combinations. There was he was throwing a combination, and he kind of pivoted off, you know, off his lead foot to his left, and then he shot a left uppercut really fast. I thought that was a very good punch. He threw it a few times. That was a very sneaky shot that he was throwing. Good test. And you can pretty much say out of all the prospect / guys that are making their way to be contender, the Huey Fury, even the Anthony Joshuas of the world, in my opinion, you know, Dominic Brazil and Jarrell Big Baby Miller and Trevor Bryant, all those guys, to me, and this is just my opinion, you guys can have a different opinion, I think that Carlos Takam is the toughest opponent. I I feel that Joseph Parker took on the toughest opponent out of all the other guys. I think, you know, Takam is proven, not a world champion, but, you know, he is a guy that, you know, he only lost to Povetkin, man, and Tony Gregory. So it was a good fight, man. It was a really good fight. Reading a lot of comments, people think that Parker should stay in New Zealand. Now, this was an IBF eliminator. I don't know if it was necessarily a final eliminator, because I know that Chisora just fought Kirbat Pulev in their fight, and I believe that was an eliminator. And then Eric Molina, when he knocked out Tomas Adamek, that was for one of the minor IBF titles. So what I'm thinking is maybe Parker versus Pulev, you know, and then that would determine the final eliminator. But I'm not sure. But because first I heard that the winner of this Takam Parker fight would get Joshua, and then the Pulev fought Chisora. So I think they might meet for the final eliminator. But I could be wrong. I have to do some more research. I'm just giving a post-fight on this fight, man. Parker, he showed me when times get rough that he's going to fight back, that he's going to, you know, do some of the things that, you know, you need to do to survive in the ring. Hold, clinch when you have to. And he was stalling. He was, you know, he showed me that he can stall a little bit. And what I mean by that, and Deontay Wilder showed me this too, when you can't go in there and just bum rush a guy and get him out of there in 3 rounds, and you don't necessarily want to fight on your back foot, sometimes you can just stand and posture just to think your way through. So I call it stalling. You're stalling a little bit, and you're using your jab while you're stalling. And it seems like Takam really wasn't sure he wanted to just rush in. Sometimes he'll, you know, he was the aggressor, and then sometimes he was fighting off his back foot a little bit, and then sometimes they just stalled and was posturing in front of each other. But I thought it was overall a good fight. I'm going to probably watch the fight again a little bit later. Congratulations to Joseph Parker. He proved me wrong. And this is what I wanted, man. Prove me wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not going to always favorite a guy in a fight every single time. Sometimes as a fan, I want to just be proved wrong. But he proved me wrong tonight. He went a good, strong 12 rounds. Both guys looked like they were gassing a little bit. You know, so I'm not going to take too much away from both. I mean, you know, they're in there fighting, man. And they tried to set a fast-paced early in the fight, and then they settled down a little bit. I actually gave Takam the first round, and I gave JP like the next 3 or 4 rounds. But I had about 7-5, maybe 8-4 or 7-4-1 Parker. You know, he edged the fight. He edged this fight. So congratulations to the Kiwi fighter, y'all. YTBC.